Halstead Telephone Company and R&J Broadcasting Incorporated is proud to present to you this broadcast on yourliveevent.com.
And we're live. Welcome to Kindred Varsity Field. We have American Legion Baseball for you in the 100th year of American Legion Baseball. So I'm Mike Bernier along with Michael Hall. And nice to have you back, Michael.
Yeah, I'm excited to be back. And, you know, this is one of those tournaments. We got a big tournament here with 4 different sites going on, and you just love Legion Baseball and couldn't ask for a better day.
Yeah, with the Seward Jays are in town. Seward is in Nebraska, and they came up. It's about a 6.5, 7-hour drive up from Seward, Nebraska, to come up and play the Kindred Vikings in this Essentia Health tournament. And we're looking good. We have a lot of baseball for you this weekend. We have this game, and then we'll broadcast on your live event the next game as well. Later on this evening after a game or two in between this one. So we're looking to have a lot of fun and looking for a lot of baseball this weekend.
Absolutely.
I'll quickly go over the lineups. This is for the Seward Jays. Their head coach is Mitch Happ. The leadoff hitter is the catcher, Cale Gardner. Batting second and playing at shortstop is Bry Burt. Batting third and playing in right field is Declan Lindau. Batting cleanup, playing over at first base is Kyle Riley. Batting fifth and playing in left field is Boston Happ. Batting sixth and playing over at third base is Colton Louse. Batting seventh, the designated hitter, Tyler Hammond. Batting eighth, the center fielder, Carson Dyer. And batting ninth, the second baseman, Quinn Berner. And on the mound will be the pitcher number 18, Connor Swaggin. So it'll be Gardner, Burt, Lindau, Riley, Happ, Louse, Hammond, Dyer, Berner, and on the mound, Connor Swaggin. Here's your starting lineup for the Kindred Vikings. Batting first and playing in center field is Brady Baumgarten. Batting second, playing in right field is Carson Getty. Batting third and catching is Sawyer Hess. Batting cleanup and playing in left field is Kylan Swenson. Batting fifth and the designated hitter, welcome back, Fisher Johnson. Batting sixth and playing at shortstop is Stanley Belaski. Batting seventh, playing over at third is Jack McDonald. And batting eighth is Kelby Erdman. He's over at first base. And batting ninth is the second baseman, Andy Traum. On the mound tonight, Teague Erdman getting called up from the Babe Ruth level. And he's going to get the start on the mound, number 19, Teague Erdman. Again, his battery mate will be Sawyer Hess. And what's the key to the ball game tonight for the Kindred Vikings?
You know, I think like most ball games, it's come in and play error-free baseball and try and make the right plays, you know, not giving up outs. You know, Teague's looking to throw strikes and just have a defense behind him. And then you got to try and get the bats going somehow. So top of the lineup, find any way on and just get some momentum rolling early.
A lot of baseball to be had this weekend. Kindred Vikings hosting this, one of the spots in this Essentia Health tournament. And we're one of the locations for this tournament. And so we're ready to play some baseball. Looks like Teague's got his warm-ups done. Teague Erdman wears number 19. His brother, Kelby, over at first base. Here's the first pitch of the game. Swinging a ground ball, chopped over towards third. Kicked by Jack McDonald. Long throw across the diamond. He got him. He recovers in time. Cale Gardner takes a spill, but the ball was knocked down by Jack McDonald. He recovered in time, made a strong throw across the diamond. Erdman there to make the catch just in time for the 5-3 putout, and there's one down on one pitch.
And, you know, right there, Jack McDonald almost disregards my advice right away and not play clean baseball, but he sticks with it, makes a good throw over to first. And then on the Seward side, you know, I like the aggression right away from the leadoff hitter. We're not going to sit around and wait. We're ready to swing right away. He saw a strike, and he went for it. So.
Yeah. So Cale Gardner's put down. That'll bring up Bry Burt. He's the shortstop. Well, we got a visit out to the mound. I'm not really sure what is not out to the mound, but coaches are talking about something down here.
Yeah, it looks like a conference about some sort of lineup card if there was maybe a misprint or.
Okay.
Looks like they're confirming. And
okay, I see the issue. For the new jerseys, Kelby Erdman has number 15. I think that's his preferred number. But they're not wearing the new jerseys. They're wearing this colored jerseys. I'm colorblind. I can't tell what color they are. There's a line drive foul, and the count is quickly 0-2 to Bry Burt. So Kelby Erdman is number 24, not number 15. Doesn't affect anything in the lineup, but I think Coach Almera is just trying to be sure so he doesn't get an out on the scorecard unnecessarily. Here's the 0-2 pitch. It's fouled away. So Teague Erdman is coming out and throwing nothing but strikes. One pitch, one out. Now he's got an 0-2 count to Bry Burt, the shortstop. Bry's name is Bryson, but he has it shortened to B-R-Y. There's a line drive into left field. Hey, Kylan Swenson's right there to make the catch. It's a line out to left, but there's 2 quick outs. And that'll bring up Declan Lindau, the right fielder. He wears number 30, right-handed hitter. Declan is D-E-K-L-A-N, Declan. Then Lindau is L-I-N-D-A-U. First pitch to him is Teague Erdman's first ball of the afternoon.
Yeah, and I can't take the announcer's jinx there because I was about to say Teague's doing a great job of attacking the strike zone and throws his first 2 balls now.
That one's up. 2 balls and no strikes. Early goings. Top of the first inning. Seward, Nebraska, the Seward Jays. The 2-0 is up and in. Almost hit Lindau. 3-0 the count. Wind looks like it's blowing out from the right foul pole to the left foul pole to me. So it'll carry out to left pretty good. And to center.
We've got, as there's a pitch come in for a strike, we've got some smoky conditions today. I don't know if that makes the air heavier, if it's harder to hit a home run with that. But
I'm sure it'll make me cough throughout the broadcast tonight.
Yep.
But that's okay. Fun day of baseball. Here's a pitch. Swing and a miss. And Teague Erdman comes back and evens up the count. Count is all full up. Declan Lindau. And the pitch, swinging and a foul, stays alive. Declan Lindau way up in the batter's box. A couple inches right before the front of the batter's box. Now here's the 3-2 pitch. Swinging and a pop-up foul. Erdman gives it a look, but it's way out of play. Down golf cart row, down the first baseline, out of camera view.
Yeah, and I think we might see a few batters up. You know, I think Teague Erdman is on the younger side, pitching some A-Legion for the first time. And
there's a breaking ball ripped into right center. This is going to fall for a base hit. First base runner for the Jays. And it's a 2-out single. Kyle Riley steps to the plate. He's the first baseman. Where's number 10? Right-handed hitter. The home plate umpire, by the way, is Bob Barkley. And out on the bases is Tate Gustafson. Thank you, gentlemen, for umpiring tonight's game. Here's a pitch. It's in there for a strike. Throw down to second. Not in time. And Lindau steals second base. Decent throw by Sawyer Hess. It's a little late. He got a pretty good jump.
Yeah, very good jump from Lindau there. And great base running, you know, being aggressive with 2 outs, trying to get yourself in scoring position.
Here's a little liner into center field. That's down for a hit. He's being waved home. The throw will come in and be cut off by the first baseman. Now a throw to the plate is going to get by everybody. So Kyle Riley will move into second base on the error.
Unfortunate error for Kindred there. You know, it seemed like the ball didn't quite get to Baumgarten as quick as he thought he would, so he wasn't able to throw it all the way home, and then just unfortunate error on the cutoff throw, and now you have another runner at second base for Seward.
Yep, it's a 1-0 lead for the Jays. Top of the first. Here's the pitch. It's up high. Bounces out of Sawyer Hess's glove momentarily, but not far enough for the base runner to advance. So Kyle Riley with an RBI single advances to second on the air. Lindau comes across the score. And it's 1-0. Here's a pop-up right side of the infield. Andy Traum tracks over, makes a catch. And that's a side for the Jays. They do come up with a run. On 2 hits, there was an error. 1 left on base at the end of a half an inning. Kindred Vikings coming to bat, trailing 1-0 on yourliveevent.com.
Minnesota and Hillsborough, Caledonia, Gardner, and Argosville, North Dakota. Serving the area residents since 1904, Halsted Telephone continues to create a bright future for this region using 100% fiber optic technology. Service plans offer flexibility and choices, and there's local support personnel ready to help. Contact Halsted Telephone Company today.
For any accounting needs you may have, Todd R. World Certified Public Accountant has you covered. From income tax planning, preparation, and consulting for individuals and businesses. Todd Wold CPA would like to wish the best to the teams competing and thank the coaches and players for their hard work and dedication throughout the season on and off the field, as anything can happen every night at the Diamond. For more information, go online to wold-cpa.com. That's wold-cpa.com. Stay up to date all year long with your live event from our social platforms with X, Facebook, and YouTube. From the latest coaches show to watch game broadcasts back on demand from earlier in the season. Search your live event on YouTube and hit subscribe.
Outside the three-point arc. Pick and pop here with Spaeth into the left side corner. 3, good.
For the complete and most up-to-date schedule throughout the year, head to our website at yourliveevent.com.
Kindred Vikings come to bat against the Seward Jays. It'll be Brady Baumgarten, Carson Getty, and Sawyer Hess to bat. Bottom of the first inning. Jays picked up a run in the top of the first inning. A couple of singles. Kyle Riley with an RBI single in the top of the first gives the Jays a 1-0 lead. Connor Swagen. First pitch is a ball. Not sure if I'm saying that right. I think we were saying Swagen. Connor, spelled normally. Here's a pitch. And a little check swing foul. Swagen is spelled S-V-E-E-G-G-E-N. So I think we'll say Swagen. I don't know that I could say Swagen consistently. We'll say Swagen. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Misses somewhere. 2 balls and a strike. Brady Baumgarten, leadoff hitter. He's been swinging a hot bat lately. He's also got some speed, so watch out if he gets on base. Here's a 2-1, swinging a foul.
Yeah, and especially after giving up a run that you really didn't want to for Kindred there in the top half of the first, Baumgarten's trying to do anything to get on here and start a rally early.
Here's a 2-2, off speed, misses down, fills up the count. Yeah, Teague Erdman got the first 2 outs of the inning, and then a base hit, a stolen base, and then a bloop single, and it's 1-0. Here's a pitch, swing and a ground ball hard over towards the shortstop. That's Bry Burt. He guns across the diamond in time for the out. A 6-3 put out, and there's 1 away. That'll bring up Carson Getty, the right fielder.
On the other side of it, Seward scores a run, and your job as the pitcher is to come out and have a shutdown inning, and Swagen does a good job there of coming back from a 2-0 count and throw strikes.
So again, a tall right-handed pitcher, wears number 18. Throws a strike to Carson Getty. And here's the 0-1. Fastball. Wow, right in there for another strike. Quickly ahead on the count, 0-2 to Carson Getty. Now here's the 0-2. Off speed, breaking ball, misses. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It's a good pitch from Swagen there. You get up 0-2 and you can pretty much do whatever you want as a pitcher at that point. And he tries for the backdoor breaking ball and just misses outside.
Here's a pitch. Misses out. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Very difficult to tell, inside, outside from way up here. You're only going by where the catcher is catching, but it's very difficult to tell if it's inside, outside. Here's a pitch.
Yeah, these pitches, to us, they look like they could be over the plate, but the catcher may be set up outside. You know, he's not moving his glove much, but if he's set up outside, it can be well outside too.
Here's the 3-2, bounce up the line. It's a fair ball. It's going to be an infield single for Carson Getty. Carson has some wheels. Nice job by Colton Louse, the third baseman. He charged, but there's just not a whole lot he could have done. The ball only went about 45 feet. Louse charged, and Carson has some wheels, so he's able to beat out an infield single.
Yep, and being a left-handed batter, that helps a little bit. You know, it was kind of a two-strike defensive swing there from Getty, but it stayed in play, and it worked out as a swinging bunt.
First pitch to Sawyer Hess is in there for a strike. Kyle Riley, the first baseman, holding him on. And here's a pitch. It hit him. Fastball inside. Caught Sawyer Hess.
Yeah, it went right off the cleat. You know, you hope it hit the bottom of the cleat. Otherwise, that one can sting a little bit for a while.
You can have a courtesy runner for the catcher, but we'll see if they just leave him in there. Sawyer can run as well, so runners at first and second. One out. Kylan Swenson steps to the plate. Left fielder takes a strike.
Yeah, with one out, you may opt to keep Hess on first, and maybe with two outs, you put a courtesy runner in. But
and here's the 0-1. Swing and a foul ball down the first base line, out of play. No balls and 2 strikes. Both pitchers now with 17 pitches. And here's the 0-2 set by Swaggin. And the pitch. Swing and a line drive up the middle. That's a base hit. Carson Getty being waved around. He'll come in to score. And now the throw goes to the plate. Throw down to third. Not in time. Or it might have been in time, but the ball was dropped by the third baseman, so Sawyer Hess is safe. Kylan moves up to second base as well, so the Vikings catch a break after the RBI single by Kylan Swenson. Scores Carson Getty to tie this ball game up at 1 apiece. And Sawyer Hess advances on the throw to the plate, so no error. Catcher Cale Gardner, I think, made a nice throw down to third base, and Colton Louse, when the ball got there, about the same time Sawyer Hess got there, so it just bounced out of his glove.
Yeah, great throw to third base. It's just one of those, timing plays where the hand comes in at the same time as the ball and it popped it out. There's no interference there or anything. That's just the way baseball works sometimes.
Yeah. Could have been the second out, but instead there's runners on second and third. There's a line drive down the right field line by Fisher Johnson, and it's foul. Quickly 0-2. Fisher Johnson just came back earlier this week and played in a B-Legion game, went 3 for 3. Bounced a foul ball into the garbage can down the left field line, which Josh Almaris was covering the game and rightfully so made a large deal about, as I would have too, because that's amazing.
Yeah, that's how it can bounce perfectly over and not go over the garbage can. I don't know.
1-2 the count to Fisher, and the pitch outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes, so Fisher Johnson has a chance to give the Vikings an early lead here. They do tie it up, both teams with 1 run on 2 hits. Vikings do have an error. And here's the 2-2 pitch. Fastball swing, and a miss. He got him. Second out is recorded, and that'll bring up Stanley Belaski.
Back to Swenson's at bat. He got down 0-2, and then he did what a good 4-hitter does, and he has good hand-eye coordination. Sat on that curveball and hit it right up the middle. It was a great piece of hitting with 2 strikes.
Swing and a foul by Stanley. Jack McDonald would be next. Runners in second and third. 2 outs. Tie ball game, bottom of first.
And aside from the hit, batsman Swaggin really attacking the zone still.
And here's a pitch, swing and a high pop fly. Out towards the shortstop. Bri Burt calls for it, makes a catch, and puts it away. Vikings do tie it up. With 1 run, Vikings do pound out a couple of hits. There were no errors. 2 runners left on base at the end of 1 inning. We're tied at 1, and we'll be back in 60.
Homegrown local radio is now worldwide with 24-hour streaming. Download the RJ Radio app to hear local voices from local radio with KRJB, KRJM, and KKCQ 24 hours a day from anywhere. You can listen to your favorite programs like the RJ Family Morning Show, local news, farm markets, music, high school sports, church services, more from anywhere. KRJB, KRJM, and 96.7 KKCQ is streaming on the RJ Radio app. Download it to your device and take us with you wherever you go.
Keep your car moving along with the team at Elite Automotive Center in Fargo. What sets Elite Automotive Center apart from the herd is their truly extensive list of services. From brake and tire service to tune-ups and battery replacement, there's no job too big or small for their ASE certified technicians. Schedule your next oil change by going to EliteAutomotiveCenter.com or scan the QR code on your screen now. Never settle for standard service. Stop by Elite Automotive Center today in Fargo.
American Legion Baseball on YourLiveEvent.com. I'm Mike Bernier along with Michael Hall, bringing you American Legion Baseball live from Kindred Varsity Field. Both teams come up with a run on 2 hits in the first inning, and we head to the top of the second inning. Seward Jays in town, made the trek up north to play some baseball. They'll send up the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. Colton Louse, the third baseman, will lead it off. He'll be followed by Tyler Hammond and Carson Dyer. Colton Louse. Louse. That's how we're pronouncing it. Louse. Okay. So it's Louse. And here's a pitch. It's a fastball outside, ball 1.
You know, one thing about these tournaments is we're getting close to actual tournament season, and so it's kind of fun for both teams to play these games. They get to simulate the event, and without the direct pressure, you know, of it's not win or go home.
There's a line drive down the left field line. It one-hopped the fence, kind of hit the top of that yellow guard on top of the fence, and I think it went into the ditch. Here's a line drive into center field. Brady Baumgarten comes on and makes a catch. It's a line out to straightaway center field for Colton. So that's out number 1. Tyler Hammond, the designated hitter, will step up. So Seward comes up here with a coach and 10 players. So that's it for their reserves.
Yeah, it's maybe what you would call efficient traveling, I guess.
And here's a pitch, swinging a ground ball hard over on the right side. It sneaks through for a hit. Trom gave it a dive, but wasn't able to come up with it. It'll be a base hit to right field. Third hit now for Seward.
Seward aggressive on the base paths in the first. We'll see if we see the same here.
Carson Dyer, the center fielder, steps to the plate. Teague Erdman on the mound. His battery mate Sawyer Hess looks over at first base. Kelby Erdman holding there. Line drive, base hit into left field. First pitch swinging. 4 hits now for the Jays. Quinn Berner will step to the plate. He's the second baseman, wears number 2. 1 down. Runners on first and second. Top of the second inning.
Seward being aggressive on the first pitch is still. It'll be interesting to see if Teague, as show a bunt here from Seward.
They do show a bunt, but the pitch is way outside, ball 1.
It'll be interesting to see if they change their strategy, if he starts throwing off-speed first pitch and tries to mix it up a little bit. And
so Teague's responsibility is to cover the third base side because Kelby Erdman is standing about 60 feet away. And here's a pitch. He's not bunting, takes a strike. So Kelby Erdman coming in, anticipating the bunt, playing about the Little League field depth.
Yep, and then you have Trom playing well into the right field hole, as his responsibility will be to cover first base.
Pitch is in there for a strike, so highly doubtful he's going to show any bunts here, because if it does go foul on the bunt, he is out. So Kelby plays back now. Here's a 1-2. Fastball laced into left center field, and that's down for a hit. Baumgarten cuts it off. It will score a run, and the Jays will take the lead by a score of 2-1 on the third hit in a row for the Jays. An RBI single for Quinn Berner. Scores Tyler Hammond. Dyer to second. 2-1 Jays.
Yeah, good piece of hitting there from the Jays. I thought it was going to hang up a little bit right away for Baumgarten to get over there, but it was enough in the gap and enough on a line that scores a run.
Here's the pitch. Back to the top of the order with Cale Gardner, I should say. Fastball is off the glove of Sawyer Hess, and that'll be a pass ball. 1-0 the count to Cale Gardner. He's 0 for 1. He grounded out to third his first time. First pitch swinging. Now here's a pitch. Swing and a line drive. Hard hit ground ball anyway down the third baseline. Foul. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, we'll have a quick timeout here from Josh Almers just to kind of talk about this situation. You know, there's one here where you want to get this out and you don't want to have a 4-run inning kind of blow up.
I think what he's talking about here is perhaps you're leaving the ball up a little too much. They're getting too good of swings off you. Change up your pace, maybe change speeds a little bit. That's the 7, 8, 9 hitters come up and lace 3 singles right in a row. So maybe just trying to change speeds, break it up a little bit, settle Teague down now. It's he's pitched, his fair share. He's pitched in the Midcast Babe Ruth League.
Yep.
And now we're playing American Legion baseball, so he's an experienced pitcher.
Looks like they're going to make a change.
Oh, they are going to make a change on the 1-1 count. So Teague Erdman comes out of the ball game. We'll take a break and tell you about the defensive changes when we return.
At Enbridge, we're focused on relationships. 23 Canadian First Nation and Métis communities now own an equity stake in Enbridge Athabasca Pipelines. In Minnesota, Enbridge has spent $450 million and counting with Native-owned companies and in wages to tribal members working on Line 3. Every day brings new collaborations, partnerships, and possibilities. Learn more at Enbridge.com.
Express Lane Marathon in Kindred is your neighborhood convenience store where convenience meets quality, whether you're fueling up with Marathon's top-tier fuel or grabbing a quick snack. Express Lane has you covered. From hot stuff pizza, smash hit subs, premium soft serve ice cream, gas, diesel, and propane exchange. Make sure to use your Marathon app and get 7 cents back per gallon all summer long. Now offering premium 91 non-ethanol fuel. Express Lane is your friendly and locally owned convenience store.
Buying, selling, or leasing commercial real estate or farmland in the Fargo-Moorhead and surrounding area? From office to retail, industrial to multifamily, commercial land to farmland. As the #1 commercial, sales, and leasing brokerage in the FM region, Goldmark Commercial has the experience and skills to handle all of your commercial real estate and farmland needs with the highest levels of customer service and marketing around. Trust the experts at Goldmark Commercial Real Estate to lead your team to success.
So here's your defensive changes for the Kindred Vikings. Stanley Belaski will come in from shortstop and pitch. Teague Erdman is removed from the game. Gabe Iverson enters the game at shortstop to take the place of Stanley Belaski. And the DH will stay in place as Fisher Johnson will still DH for Gabe Iverson in that spot in the 5th hole.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit off air. I think Seward had started to time up Erdman a little bit, and so it's a really critical point in the game where you have 2 runners in scoring position. You really want to make sure you can get these outs, and hopefully this change of pace for the Vikings with Belaski can throw Seward off a little bit because hits are contagious, and they were hitting the ball well.
So pitching change right in the middle of the count. The batter is still Cale Gardner. 1-1 count. Off speed, misses up. 2 balls and a strike. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Jays. Kindred Vikings with 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 error. Now here's a 2-1 set. And the pitch in there for a strike. Pops out of Sawyer Hess's glove momentarily. 2-2 the count. And now the pitch from Belaski. Off speed, breaking ball upstairs. Out in front of him, Stanley Belaski hustling over, picking up the baseball. So I think if the runner would have tried to score, Stanley Belaski not only would have fielded it, but probably ran over and tagged him out.
An unassisted tag there. Important pitch here, but not the end of the world if he walks. So you don't want to give up too good of a pitch.
Here's a pitch. Breaking ball down. He does walk him. And that loads him up. Now, official baseball scoring, we talked about this off air. That walk is charged to T. Girdman because he started the batter. I don't know if Game Changer will pick that up or not, but that is the official scoring by the technical rules of baseball. Here's a fastball upstairs, ball 1 to Bri Burt. He lined out to left fielder Kylan Swenson in the first inning. Jays have a 2-1 lead. Took the lead on an RBI single by Quinn Berner. Here's a pitch, fastball outside, 2 balls and no strikes.
Really important for Belaski to get back in the zone here. You got to find a way to find a rhythm. Sometimes it's hard to come in, especially in the middle of a count. But you got to find a way to settle in, get a rhythm as a pitcher.
Here's a line drive foul down the third base line. And that ball was squared up, but way out in front of it. 2-1 the count. Bases are loaded with 1 out. Here's a 2-1 in there for a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Again, important for Belaski to be aggressive. You had the 1 free base. You don't have that free base anymore. Got to be attacking the batters now.
Here's a 2-2. Breaking ball misses outside and low. Full count. Nowhere to put him. Dakota Lindau on deck. Now here's a full count pitch. He missed. He walked him. Carson Dyer comes across the score to make it 3-1. Berner to third. Gardner to second. An RBI for Bri Burt as he draws a walk with the bases loaded. That brings up Declan Lindau, the right fielder. He's 1 for 1. He's singled and scored a run. Added a stolen base to that in the first inning. Shows bunt. Wasn't your typical suicide squeeze. I think what that was is if he was going to bunt it, it was going to be a safety squeeze if he gets it down. But with the bases loaded, he's got to come home anyway.
Vikings still playing at normal depth here with 1 out. Corners maybe in a little bit.
See if they can turn 2 up the middle. Here's the pitch, and he does bunt at it. It goes foul for strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Interesting. You have your third batter in the lineup, trying to lay down a bunt to get a run across.
Yeah, especially with the way the hits have been this inning. You know, you'd think you let your 3-hitter try and go out and find a gap, but.
Here's a 1-1 pitch, breaking ball up. 2 balls and a strike. And the other thing is Stanley Belaski has faced 2 batters, walked them both.
Yep.
So if you're the Vikings and they want to bunt, I'd say take the out. And the throw into center field, trying to pick off the runner at second base, and that'll score a run. Quinn Berner comes across the score on the error. It'll be E1. Second error for the Kindred Vikings. 4-1 lead now. So the 7, 8, 9 hitters all come across the score. Top of the second inning. And here's a pitch. It's up. 3 balls and a strike. Kyle Riley is on deck. And the pitch. It's inside. He walked him.
We'll have another visit here as Belaski may need a little bit of a calm down here, and we'll try and see him get back in the zone, or we'll see if they make a change.
3 walks in a row for Stanley as he comes into pitch. And he is going to take the baseball, so we'll take a break during this pitching change, and we'll be back in about a minute on yourliveevent.com.
Green Earth Landscaping offers a full range of services, including commercial and residential landscape design and installation, maintenance and sprinkler services. From outdoor kitchens to patios, retaining walls, lighting, fine grade, sod and hydroseed, and anything in between, Green Earth Landscaping has you covered, servicing the Fargo-Moorhead area and beyond. For more information, go online to greenearthnd.com. That's greenearthnd.com.
Make your stop before or after the game at the Knickerbocker in Hickson, North Dakota. Stop out throughout the week for mouth-watering lunch specials weekdays and mark Friday nights down on the calendar for prime rib, ribeye steak, or some walleye at the Knickerbocker. For more information or to find out about daily specials, give the Knickerbocker a like on Facebook by searching the Knickerbocker. Great food and good people. You can find it all at the Knickerbocker in Hickson, North Dakota.
Gabe Iverson moves from the shortstop position. He'll come on to pitch. Stanley Blasky will move back to the shortstop position. So the Kindred Vikings down to the Seward Jays by a score of 4-1. Bases are loaded. 3 runs in this inning in the top of the second.
You know, still not the worst inning, but a very dangerous position for the Vikings to be in. You got to find a way to get an out here.
So Gabe Iverson comes on to pitch. He'll try to minimize the damage here. Again, a tough situation to come in. You're down by 3, and the bases are loaded with only the 1 out, and you're facing the cleanup hitter, Kyle Riley. Had an RBI single his first time up. That was against T. Girdman. Here's the first pitch. It goes back to the screen, and runners will not advance. Now here's a throw into the infield, and it's going to be an error on the catcher on the throw. So the runners stopped. Sawyer had the ball when he tried to throw it back to the pitcher. It skipped by him. So another run will score on an error. Cale Gardner comes across to score. Runners stay at first and second. It's 5-1 now. Here's the pitch upstairs. 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, you know, just a culmination of things here. It's snowballing a little bit for the Vikings. And, you know, I think the hits have all been singles, no extra base hits, but you put some guys on with walks and then you make a few errors and it can add up.
2-1 the count to Kyle Riley. Swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Gabe Iverson trying to work his way out of this jam. And the pitch off speed, ground ball out towards short. This might be 2. Throw to second for 1. Throw to first is low. Scooped out of the dirt nicely by Kelby Erdman. And they do complete the 6-4-3 double play. And that's a big one. I got to think the Vikings are thinking that, hey, we only allowed the 4 runs. We're right back in this game. Let's go chip away when we come back on yourliveevent.com.
For any accounting needs you may have, Todd R. World Certified Public Accountant has you covered. From income tax planning, preparation, and consulting for individuals and businesses. Todd Wold CPA would like to wish the best to the teams competing and thank the coaches and players for their hard work and dedication throughout the season on and off the field, as anything can happen every night at the Diamond. For more information, go online to wold-cpa.com. That's wold-cpa.com.
Keep your car moving along with the team at Elite Automotive Center in Fargo. What sets Elite Automotive Center apart from the herd is their truly extensive list of services. From brake and tire service to tune-ups and battery replacement, there's no job too big or small for their ASE certified technicians. Schedule your next oil change by going to EliteAutomotiveCenter.com or scan the QR code on your screen now. Never settle for standard service. Stop by Elite Automotive Center today in Fargo.
Kindred Vikings come to bat. They'll have the 7, 8, 9 hitters to bat. It'll be Jack McDonald, Kelby Erdman, and Andy Traum. Tell you what, huge 6-4-3 double play at the top of that inning to end it for the Jays.
Yeah, you end a really dangerous scoring threat for the Jays, and then you get a little bit of momentum. Now as the Vikings, again, that leadoff guy, find any way on. You got to get base runners because you need base runners to score runs.
Just finishing the line, the pitching line for Teague Erdman was inning and a third, 5 hits, 4 runs, all earned, didn't walk or strike out anybody. And for Belaski, no innings pitched, no hits, does allow a run, walked 3, and didn't strike anybody out. Here's a swing and a miss for Jack McDonald, getting his first plate appearance of the afternoon. Playing over at third base, 5-1 lead for Seward. Swing and a foul. Quickly up on the count is the starting pitcher, Connor Swagan.
Yeah, and again, Swagan attacking the zone and getting up 0-2 here on McDonald.
Pitches down low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. I think I've interchangeably used different pronunciations of his last name. Sorry about that, but here's a high pop fly, shallow center field. Carson Dyer comes on, gives way to the left fielder, Boston Happ, and Boston Happ makes the catch out in left field, and it's a fly out to left for the first out of the bottom of the second inning. That'll bring up Kelby Erdman. Kelby had a great pick in the dirt to complete that 6-4-3 double play in the top of the second. Wearing number 24 in this ball game. Here's a ground ball chopped over towards third. Nice play by Laus, and he throws it over and tags Erdman, but the ball is dropped, and Erdman is safe. So that'll be an error on the third baseman. Kelby absolutely touched the base on his way by. He was tagged by the first baseman, Riley, but as soon as he applied the tag, the ball went flying out. It's going to be E5 for now. Coach Mitch Happ comes out to talk to the umpires. They're going to talk it over here. It'll be Bob Barkley and Tate Gustafson, the umpires.
Yeah, again, it's one of those funky baseball plays. I don't think there was any intentional swiping of the glove. The ball comes out on contact, and I think the correct call was made on the field there.
Yeah, Riley made a nice play. He picked it out of the dirt, tried to apply the tag to Erdman. Erdman running down the line. Hit his glove, the ball went flying out, and then I believe, from what I saw, from what I recall, we could go back and look at it again, but I saw Kelby trip over the base and then take a tumble down the line. Here's a high pop fly in foul territory. Riley gives chase, and it's out of play, I assume.
Yeah, that's our blind spot on the camera and kind of for us as well, so.
The only reason I assumed he didn't catch it is because the umpire threw a different ball up to the pitcher, so I just didn't figure he made any catches. So Erdman's on in the air by the Jays. Nice play over there by the third baseman, Los. Here's a ground ball chopped out towards short. Brybert, 4-3 in time. They turn their own 6-4-3 double play. And for the Vikings in the bottom of the first inning, no runs, no hits. There was an error. Nobody left on base. At the end of 2, the Seward Jays lead it by a score of 5-1 over the Vikings.
For trusted news, weather, and sports from your community, look to R&J Broadcasting Incorporated, KRJB, KRJM, and KKCQ Radio, and rjbroadcasting.com. Hear local voices from local radio with news and information from the area. Your information stations, KRJB, KRJM, and KKCQ Radio, and RJBroadcasting.com, local voices from local radio.
Buying, selling, or leasing commercial real estate or farmland in the Fargo-Moorhead and surrounding area? From office to retail, industrial to multifamily, commercial land to farmland. As the #1 commercial sales and leasing brokerage in the FM region, Goldmark Commercial has the experience and skills to handle all of your commercial real estate and farmland needs with the highest levels of customer service and marketing around. Trust the experts at Goldmark Commercial Real Estate to lead your team to success.
The Seward Jays come to bat. Top of the third inning, they'll have their 5, 6, and 7 hitters. Boston Happ, Colton Lose, and Tyler Hammond to bat against Gabe Iverson. Gabe Iverson came on in relief in a tough spot. A run did score while he was pitching. It's not charged to him, but it scored on an error. That run charged to Stanley Belaski. But then on the next pitch, Gabe induced the 6-4-3 double play. Now here's a pop-up in the infield. Kelby Erdman comes on, calmly handles it, and it's out number 1.
Great start for Iverson there, getting a quick out. And if you're the Vikings, you try and forget about that second inning. Reset here, play good baseball, and all you can do is look forward. You can't change anything that happened.
And here's a pitch by Iverson. It's a ball low and in the dirt. Colton Lose lined out to the center fielder, Brady Baumgarten. That was to start the second inning. And here's a pitch. Ground ball chopped off of Lose. That's a foul ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. For Seward, the Jays, 5 runs, 5 hits, 1 error. For the Kindred Vikings, 1 run, 2 hits, and 3 errors. And here's a pitch off speed. Misses. 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, that error column tells a story. You know, Seward's error didn't hurt them, and the Vikings' errors have hurt them, and that leads to a lopsided score.
Here's a ground ball chopped down the third base line. Fair ball. Kylan Swenson goes over and cuts it off. It'll be a close play at second, and he'll be in there with a stand-up double. Thought that was going to be a lot closer than it was, but Colton Lose, a 1-out double down the left field line. 6 hits now for the Jays.
Yes.
Tyler Hammond will come up.
Swenson not able to get fired all the way to second base there right away, and it slowed the play down a little bit. Otherwise, I think there would have been a play at second.
Here's a set by number 8, Gabe Iverson. Foul back to the screen, strike 1. Tyler Hammond singled in the second inning, came around to score. He started that rally in the second with that lead out or 1-out single. Here's the 0-1 set and the pitch from Gabe Iverson. Line drive over towards the first baseman. Kelby Erdman, he's right there. Kind of a soft line drive. And that's the second out of the inning.
Good reaction there, both from Erdman making the play, and then the runner on second, heads up, froze, and made the right play to get back.
That'll bring up Carson Dyer. He also singled in the second inning. He also came around to score. So the 7, 8, 9 hitters doing some damage for the Jays in that top of the second inning. The 7, 8, 9 hitters all had hits and all scored. And here's a 1-0 pitch, swinging a ground ball, chopped over towards third. Jack McDonald has it, throws across the diamond, and scooped out once again by Kelby Erdman over at first base, and it's a 5-3 putout. For the half the inning for the Jays, no runs or was a hit. No errors, 1 runner left on base. At the end of 2.5, Kindred Vikings coming to bat, trailing 5-1 to the Jays.
Green Earth Landscaping offers a full range of services, including commercial and residential landscape design and installation, maintenance and sprinkler services. From outdoor kitchens to patios, retaining walls, lighting, fine grade, sod and hydroseed, and anything in between, Green Earth Landscaping has you covered, servicing the Fargo-Moorhead area and beyond. For more information, go online to greenearthnd.com. That's greenearthnd.com.
Kindred Vikings coming to bat. They'll send the top of the order. Brady Baumgarten, Carson Getty, and Sawyer Hess. Essentia Health Tournament. Kindred Vikings, one of the host sites, and we had some baseball action earlier in the ballgame.
Yeah, earlier today, Seward already has a game under their belt, and they were able to beat Wahpeton 9-1. Then we had a second game featuring Watertown, South Dakota, facing Wahpeton, North Dakota. Watertown took the victory in that one 9-3. And now we are here with Game 3 between Seward, Nebraska, and Kindred, North Dakota.
5-1 lead for the Jays over the Kindred Vikings. Brady Baumgarten has a 1-1 count. Lines one into center field, down for a hit. Brady Baumgarten is just locked in. He was 0 for 1 coming in to that plate appearance. He had grounded out, but now he laces another single into center field and a leadoff single. Third hit for the Vikings.
Yeah, important single there, and a great job by the leadoff hitter to get on base. Now you try and do something with it if you're the Vikings.
Carson Getty steps up, takes strike one. Getty singled on a defensive two-strike swing, but he got enough of it to get it down the third base line. And the third baseman had to charge. Just too much speed for Carson Getty. He had an infield base hit. He came around to score the only run for the Vikings. Here's a pitch in there for a strike.
Yeah, I think one thing here, Seward did well after they got one time through the lineup. They started to time up the pitching, and they began hitting well. So you hope for the Vikings, they hope they can do the same thing here now that they're once through the lineup.
Connor Svagan. Throw over to first base. Brady Baumgarten back in plenty of time. Brady can run. We haven't seen a throw down to second base as of yet from the catcher. Here's a pitch. Called strike three. Carson Getty goes down on strikes for the first out of the inning. Two strikeouts now for the starter. That'll bring up Sawyer Hess. Sawyer Hess was hit by a pitch in the first inning. He was eventually stranded at third base. 5-1 lead. And here's a pitch from the tall right-hander. That ball's inside, ball one. And that proved to be a big half inning as the Vikings had runners at second and third with only one out. But then there was a strikeout and then a pop-out to end the inning. Another throw over to first base. Baumgarten back in plenty of time.
Yeah, sorry we don't have multiple camera angles here. I can't quite get that play up first, but none of them have been super close. So
here's a 1-0 pitch. Swinging a ground ball out towards the shortstop. To second for one. Throw to first. In the dirt. Scooped out of the dirt nicely by Riley on a 6-4-3 double play. The second double play turned by the Jays at the third double play in the ball game. And in that half an inning, Kindred Vikings, no runs. They do have a hit. No errors, nobody left on base. At the end of three, it's a 5-1 lead for the Jays over the Vikings.
Halstead Telephone Company delivers fast broadband internet, telephone, and cable TV to residents in this region, including Halstead, Shelley, Neilsville, Climax, Fisher, Bigland, Gentilly in Minnesota, and Hillsborough, Caledonia, Gardner, and Argosville, North Dakota. Serving the area residents since 1904, Halstead Telephone continues to create a bright future for this region using 100% fiber optic technology. Service plans offer flexibility and choices, and there's local support personnel ready to help. Contact Halstead Telephone Company today.
For any accounting needs you may have, Todd R. World Certified Public Accountant has you covered. From income tax planning, preparation, and consulting for individuals and businesses. Todd Wold CPA would like to wish the best to the teams competing and thank the coaches and players for their hard work and dedication throughout the season on and off the field, as anything can happen every night at the Diamond. For more information, go online to wold-cpa.com. That's wold-cpa.com.
The Seward Jays from Nebraska are in town to take on the Kindred Vikings. They'll send up the 9 1-2 hitters to face the relief pitcher, Gabe Iverson. I'm Mike Bernier along with Michael Hall. What year did you graduate from Kindred High School?
2019.
2019, so it's been a number of years. You're in medical school right now?
Yep.
You looked up some facts on Seward. I don't know much about Seward, Nebraska. I don't think I've ever been there. What do you know about Seward?
Yeah, I took a little look. I was interested. I'd never heard of the town myself, and it's a A little town, kind of big for North Dakota standards, but 7,600 people in Seward, Nebraska, and it's just west of Lincoln, so they're close to the University of Nebraska there, and they took about a 7.5-hour trip up here.
Wow. First pitch is a ball to Quinn Berner. Berner had an RBI single and scored a run in the second inning.
Kindred has always taken some fun trips down to either Nebraska or Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Ball in play there.
Ground ball to Belaski, fires across the diamond in time for the out. And it's a 6-3 putout. Gabe Iverson, by the way, has set down 3 in a row.
But Kindred has traveled south, and played some of those teams from those states in these tournaments, but it's fun to be able to host here. And, I think it's fun for us to get to show our newer field and get some North Dakota baseball involved here too.
We did have some rain delays earlier today, but it hasn't affected the field very much. The field looks great. It's in good shape. Having that artificial turf around home plate and also out on the mound and down the baseline sure does cut down on the continued maintenance of the field.
Yeah, I think Dan Nathan is quite happy he doesn't have to be maintaining home plate.
Here's a pitch, line drive into left field, a base hit. That's Cale Gardner, the catcher. He's now 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Cale Gardner's taken some nice swings throughout the day. He had a hard hit ground ball in the first pitch of the game. He was out. He walked, but he hit a couple of hard foul balls. Now he laces one into left field for the 7th hit for the Jays.
Yeah, I've been impressed with the Jays hitting. Not a lot of lazy pop-ups, and it's been hard line drives and hard ground balls.
Gabe Iverson on in relief. He's only given up the 2 hits over 2 innings of work. Hasn't allowed any runs, hasn't walked anyone, hasn't struck anybody out. Here's the 0-1 pitch, swinging a line drive right at the glove of Jack McDonald. Very hard hit baseball. Fortunately, I just heard Paul Quislen, the PA announcer, say that. We're lucky that didn't hit Jack in the face because it looked like he was going to make the catch, and the ball was hit hard. They're going to give him a single on that, and rightfully so. Very hard hit baseball.
Yeah, it was off the glove, but, that was pure reaction play. Yeah. It's not an error of skill. It's just pure reaction, and it kicked off the glove.
An error, you give an error when it's a routine play that the fielder should have made.
Exactly.
Right? And that ball was just laced, and I think Jack McDonald just seriously went into defense mode. So it's going to be scored as a single. Now here's another single into center field, and they're going to hold the runner up at third for the Vikings. I think the Vikings caught a little bit of a break as Brady Baumgarten stumbled with the baseball just a little bit, but it was almost enough to send the runner home, but he is held up. So it's a single for Declan Lindau. Yeah,
it was a good hold because if Baumgarten does make a clean play and the runner is going, I think that's a play that Brady can make at home. Unfortunately for the Vikings, the runner was a decent ways off third base, but McDonald was not on third to make a throw over there for a back pick.
The bases are now loaded. 3 singles in a row. That one was by Declan Lindau. Now he's 2 for 2 with a run scored. He walked in his other plate appearance. Here's Kyle Riley. He had an RBI single to start the scoring for the Jays in the first, and he hit into a double play. Now here's a bouncer to short. On to second for 1. Throw to first is not going to be in time, and it's going to skip away. And that's going to score another run for the Jays. And they throw down to second base, and Brady Baumgarten is there to back it up. So a lot going on that play. Kyle Riley, what it'll be, he'll reach first base on a fielder's choice. Advance to second on the error by the second baseman, Andy Traum. Kyle Riley does get a run batted in. Cale Gardner scores. Bry Burt scores on the error, on the same error. Lindau is out 6-4 at second base for the second out of the inning. Boston Happ is the left fielder. He's 0 for 2. He's popped up a couple of times. Boston, by the way, is spelled B-O-S-T-Y-N. Happ, H-A-P-P. 6-1 now in favor of Seward. Here's a high fly ball into right field. Carson Getty comes on and makes the catch. I have a score of 7-1. Did they not score 2 runs on that play? They should have scored 2 runs on that play. The original fielder's choice, and yep. So 2 runs came across, 1 on an error. So a fly out to right field does end the inning. Seward comes up with 2 runs, and they pound out 3 hits. There was an error, and 1 runner left aboard. So at the end of 3 1/2, a 7-1 lead for the Jays over the Vikings are coming to bat.
Stay up to date all year long with your live event from our social platforms with X, Facebook, and YouTube. From the latest coaches show to watch game broadcasts back on demand from earlier in the season. Search your live event on YouTube and hit subscribe.
Outside the 3-point arc. Pick and pop here with Spaeth into the left side corner. 3, good.
For the complete and most up-to-date schedule throughout the year, head to our website at yourliveevent.com.
Homegrown local radio is now worldwide with 24-hour streaming. Download the RJ Radio app to hear local voices from local radio with KRJB, KRJM, and KKCQ 24 hours a day from anywhere. You can listen to your favorite programs like the RJ Family Morning Show, local news, farm markets, music, high school sports, church services, more from anywhere. KRJB, KRJM, and 96.7 KKCQ is streaming on the RJ Radio app. Download it to your device and take us with you wherever you
Kindred Vikings will send the 4, 5, and 6 hitters to bat in the bottom of the 4th inning, trailing 7-1 to the Seward Jays. Kylan Swenson, Fisher Johnson, and Stanley Belaski due to bat. Kylan Swenson had an RBI single in the 1st inning. That drove in the only run for the Vikings, scoring Carson Getty.
Starting to get into the time of the game where, yes, you want base runners, but you also, Kylan's capable of extra base hit, and that's what you'd really like to see right here.
Takes a first pitch fastball for a strike. Connor Swagan. Here's a ground ball over towards third. Los has it, fires across the diamond just in time to beat the speedy Kylan Swenson, but it's a 5-3 putout. 1 away.
Swagan really pitching a fantastic ball game right now, 42 pitches. Throwing strikes, his defense is making plays. Can't ask for much more.
He set down 3 batters in a row and got 4 outs out of those 3 batters as Sawyer Hess ended the 3rd inning with a ground-out double play. Fisher Johnson bats now. He struck out back in the 1st, quickly down to the count 0-2. Fisher wearing number 23, batting with an 0-2 count. Timeout called at the plate. 7 runs, 9 hits for the Jays, 1 error. Kindred Vikings, 1 run, 3 hits, and 4 errors. Now here's the 0-2 pitch. Fastball. Misses down low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's a 1-2, swing and a miss. Johnson goes down on strikes for the 2nd out of the inning. 3 strikeouts now for the starting pitcher. That'll bring up Stanley Belaski. He's 0 for 1. He popped out to short to end the 1st. Looking to get something started here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Yeah, any way to get a 2-out rally and disrupt the flow that Swagan has right now.
Swing and a miss. Swagan has thrown 47 pitches only. Pitch count looking very, very good. Now here's the 48th, swinging a line drive, base hit up the middle. 4 hits now for the Vikings. Hard hit baseball for Belaski.
Good piece of hitting there with 2 strikes and finds his way on base. But that pitch count that Swagan has is a product of him throwing strikes and his defense making plays. And if you're Swagan, you'll take a single every now and then to keep throwing those strikes.
Here's a pitch in there for a strike to Jack McDonald. He's 0 for 1. He flew out to the left fielder his first time up. Belaski can run. Here's a pitch, line drive into left, base hit, 2 singles in a row for the Vikings. 5 hits now. And that brings up Kelby Erdman. Kelby Erdman has been a part of 2 collisions over at first base this week. Earlier in this game, he hit a ground ball to third. The throw was in the dirt. First baseman scooped it out, tried to apply the tag, and kind of collided with the first baseman. Kelby was safe on the E5. In a B-Legion game a couple of nights ago, here's a pitch, swing and a miss. Erdman was playing first base, and the throw was up the line, and he had to jump for it. When he came down, he was right in the base path, and the runner just cracked into him. Nothing intentional by either party, and so a couple of collisions for Kelby, but he's in good shape, and he can handle it. Takes a fastball down low, 1 ball and 1 strike. So Erdman is 0 for 1 officially. He did reach first on the error. The lone error for the Jays. Andy Trom is on deck. Runners on first and second, 2 down.
Something in play here would be nice, and you try and steal one away here and chip away a little bit.
Off speed, grounded over towards the shortstop. Brybird has it, takes a short way, and gets out of it. Fielder's choice. 6-4 put out for the 3rd out of the inning. For the Vikings, they don't come up with any runs. You pound out a couple of hits. Leave 2 runners aboard. At the end of 4 innings, the Jays with 7, Vikings with 1.
Keep your car moving along with the team at Elite Automotive Center in Fargo. What sets Elite Automotive Center apart from the herd is their truly extensive list of services. From brake and tire service to tune-ups and battery replacement, there's no job too big or small for their ASE certified technicians. Schedule your next oil change by going to EliteAutomotiveCenter.com or scan the QR code on your screen now. Never settle for standard service. Stop by Elite Automotive Center today in Fargo.
At Enbridge, we're focused on relationships. 23 Canadian First Nation and Métis communities now own an equity stake in Enbridge Athabasca Pipelines. In Minnesota, Enbridge has spent $450 million and counting, with Native-owned companies and in wages to tribal members working on Line 3. Every day brings new collaborations, partnerships, and possibilities. Learn more at Enbridge.com.
American Legion Baseball on YourLiveEvent.com. I'm Mike Bernier along with Michael Hall. So Seward out of Nebraska, you said it was a 7.5-hour drive?
About, yep. And then you got to factor in breaks and.
Oh, yeah.
Especially I don't know if they took a bus or if they took vehicles, but.
First pitch swinging, high fly ball. Deep left field is carrying out there, but Kylan Swenson goes back and makes a catch. That was a batter, Colton Lose, by the way. He's hit the ball hard a couple of times. He lined out to center, doubled in the 3rd. Now he hits one deep to left. But Kylan Swenson tracks it down for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, he just got underneath that one, and it just kept drifting back and back and back. But Swenson, great job tracking the ball and able to make the catch.
Swing and a foul back to the screen. Tyler Hammond, the designated hitter. He's 1 for 2. He scored a run and lined out to 3rd. And here's a pitch off speed, misses up. 1 ball and 1 strike. 7 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for Seward. Kindred with 1 run, 5 hits, and 4 errors. Fastball is upstairs again. 2 balls and a strike. 1 out, nobody on. Gabe Iverson on the hill. He set down 3 in a row. Here's a pop-up foul. It's going to be out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes up on top of the grandstand. Pretty decent crowd out here at the ball game for an afternoon game. Concession stand is rolling. Cheeseburgers again, man, they're good cheeseburgers.
There's nothing like a cheeseburger at a baseball field. Fresh concession food doesn't get much better than that.
Good hot dogs, good pizza. And here's a full count pitch lined into left field, but Kylan Swenson's right there. Another hard hit baseball for the Jays. 4 in a row set down by Gabe Iverson. Carson Dyer will step up. He singled and scored a run in the 2nd, grounded out to 3rd to end the 3rd. So he's 1 for 2. And here's a pitch. It's a ball low.
Swenson didn't have to move much for that one. Probably thankful for a little break after chasing that first fly ball out to the gap.
Here's a pitch up. 2 balls and no strikes. Quinn Berner on deck. Here's a high pop fly right side of the infield. Andy Traum chases it down and calls for it and makes a catch. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Gabe Iverson and the Vikings in the top of the 5th. Kindred Vikings coming to bat, trailing by a score of 7-1.
Express Lane Marathon in Kindred is your neighborhood convenience store where convenience meets quality, whether you're fueling up with Marathon's top-tier fuel or grabbing a quick snack. Express Lane has you covered. From hot stuff pizza, smash hit subs, premium soft serve ice cream, gas, diesel, and propane exchange. Make sure to use your Marathon app and get 7 cents back per gallon all summer long. Now offering premium 91 non-ethanol fuel. Express Lane is your friendly and locally owned convenience store.
Buying, selling, or leasing commercial real estate or farmland in the Fargo-Moorhead and surrounding area? From office to retail, industrial to multifamily, commercial land to farmland. As the #1 commercial, sales, and leasing brokerage in the FM region, Goldmark Commercial has the experience and skills to handle all of your commercial real estate and farmland needs with the highest levels of customer service and marketing around. Trust the experts at Goldmark Commercial Real Estate to lead your team to success.
Welcome back to Kindred Baseball Field. We're here in the bottom of the 5th with the Vikings coming up to bat. They trail by a score of 7-1. Me and Mike are just reviewing the MLB matchup tonight in Minneapolis. Pittsburgh Pirates taking on the Minnesota Twins, and both teams have their aces out. Joe Ryan facing Paul Skeens.
And what was Skeens? What was his ERA?
1.94.
And he's got a record of 4-7.
4-7.
First pitch is a breaking ball to Andy Traum, misses outside. Connor Svagen on the mound for the Jays. 1-0 pitch is in there for a strike. I'm trying to look this up because, as you know, I'm a baseball nerd, statistical nerd. I'm looking up the pitching stats for Nolan Ryan, and I can't remember what season it was, but he won the ERA title. His record, 8-16. Line drive single into center field for Andy Traum. Squares it up, pounds out the 6th hit for the Vikings.
Yeah, I think when you look at pitching stats and how things have evolved in baseball over the years, it makes you kind of realize that wins and losses is not usually the best marker of a pitcher's ability.
No. Here's a ground ball, base hit into left field. Brady Baumgarten stays hot. First pitch swinging, laces a single into left field. Runners quickly at first and second with nobody out. 7 hits now for the Vikings.
A couple of nice hits here from the Vikings, and you know we've seen a lot of good hitting in this game. Solid singles, nothing crazy, no crazy. I think there's been 1 extra base hit for Seward, but other than that, just nice line drives put into the outfield. Carson Getty up to bat, and he takes strike 1 there.
Yeah. It was the 1987 season. He's pitching for the Houston Astros at 40 years old. He wins the ERA title with a 2.76 earned run average, and his record is 8-16 on the season.
He probably fought more people than he had wins that year.
Yeah. 1-1 count to Carson Getty. Swinging a ground ball on the left side, fielded by the shortstop, no play. That's going to be an infield single, and the Kindred Vikings quickly load up the bases. 3 hits in a row to load up the bases. So if you remember that those 1980s Houston Astros uniforms, the rainbow, they're just a wretched uniform. But you win an ERA title under 3, and you don't win 10 games. National League Baseball at its finest.
Yeah.
I have to look it up. You probably threw 30 complete games or something that year or something.
Yeah. Maybe a couple no-hitters in there.
Here's a swing and a foul back to the screen. Sawyer Hess, the batter. He was hit by a pitch and bounced into a double play to end the 3rd. And here's a pitch over for a strike.
You know, this is the first inning that we've had a chance to kind of talk about some baseball outside of this game, and it turns out it's been a good inning to talk about this game. The Vikings have the bases loaded here with a good potential for a rally.
Here's a ground ball to third. Throw to the plate. It's a force out there. So Sawyer Hess reaches on a fielder's choice. So really just an exchange of runners there for the out. Getty to second, Baumgarten to third, and Traum is out at the plate on a 5-2 putout for the first out of the inning. But three straight singles. Andy Traum with a base hit, Baumgarten with a base hit, Carson Getty with a base hit. Now a fielder's choice, and the bases are still loaded for Kylan Swenson. He's 1 for 2 with an RBI single and a ground out.
Yeah, Swenson, the guy you want at the plate if you're the Vikings here.
And the pitch misses. 1 ball and 1 strike. Wind still blowing out pretty hard to left field, kind of from foul pole to foul pole. Here's a 1-1 set. And the pitch, swinging a foul, out of play. So Paul Skeens with an under 2 ERA and a sub 500 win-loss record. Here's a 1-2 set and the pitch. Swinging a line drive into center field. This will probably score a run. The ball is caught. Throw to the plate is not in time. It's up the third base line just a hair. Brady Baumgarten can run, and he'll score on a sacrifice fly to center field for Kylan Swenson. Second out of the inning. Second run batted in for Kylan Swenson makes it a 7-2 ball game in favor of the Seward Jays.
Yeah, great. I mean, throw up the line, but still a good timing on that from the center fielder. It's just tough to throw out Baumgarten. He's got good speed.
And here's a pitch from number 18. Misses for a ball. Fisher Johnson, the batter. He's 0 for 2, a couple of strikeouts. Has runners at first and second. And here's a pitch. Fastball swinging a foul. Stanley Belaski is on deck. Now here's a 1-1 set. Swinging at a pop-up, left side of the infield. Third baseman Colton Lose calls for it, puts it away. Vikings do come up with a run in that half an inning. They do pound out 3 hits in the inning and the run, and they cut the lead to 7-2 for the Seward Jays. Seward Jays are coming up in the top of the 6th inning on yourliveevent.com.
Green Earth Landscaping offers a full range of services, including commercial and residential landscape design and installation, maintenance and sprinkler services. From outdoor kitchens to patios, retaining walls, lighting, fine grade, sod and hydroseed, and anything in between, Green Earth Landscaping has you covered, servicing the Fargo-Moorhead area and beyond. For more information, go online to greenearthnd.com. That's greenearthnd.com.
Seward Jays coming to bat, top of the 6th inning. They'll send the 9, 1, and 2 hitters. It'll be Quinn Berner, Cale Gardner, and Bry Burt to bat against Gabe Iverson. Gabe Iverson has done a fine job in relief for the Vikings. First batter he faced, bounced into a double play to get him out of the 2nd inning. And then he allowed 1 hit in the 3rd, no runs. A couple of runs came across the score in the 4th, only 1 was earned, and then this last inning, the 5th inning, he had a 1-2-3 inning. He set down 5 in a row. He'll face Quinn Berner. Burner is 1 for 2 with an RBI single and a run scored and a ground out.
Yeah, Iverson's done a nice job coming in here and kind of settling in. And like you said, just the one earned run so far.
And here's a pitch, breaking ball in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. So in the batter's box, it is the first year of the artificial turf, and I'm going to use dirt and I'm going to use chalk line the entire time. There's no chalk. There isn't any dirt down there. There's pellets down there at home plate. So I've been calling it the turf dirt.
Yep. Tell you what.
There's a line drive into left field. Stanley Blasky, nothing you can do, try to backhand that one and try to play the hop. It's going to go down as a base hit. Oh, we're going to call it an error. E6. Hard hit baseball. That'll bring us to the top of the order in Cale Gardner. He's 1 for 2 with a couple of runs scored. Here's a high pop fly foul, and it's going to go over the third base dugout. Oof. Oh, my goodness. It hit one of the lights right behind the third base dugout, and there was a lady coming in, carrying her gear and getting ready to watch some baseball, and the ball nearly hit her on top of the head.
Luckily, it did miss. Everyone is okay. Just a fun pinball showing.
0-1 the count. And here's a pitch. Off-speed breaking ball in the turf dirt. 1-1 the count. Cale Gardner. Throw over to first base, back in plenty of time, is Burner.
You know, we did mention earlier Seward only bringing 1 coach and 10 players. They have no first base coach over here right now.
There's a ground ball, hard hit, bounced off of the lip, and I will say lip, and it bounced into left field. That's going to be a base hit. Could have been the sprinkler. Stanley Blasky was right there hoping to get that 6-4-3 double play, and that would have been a tailor-made double play, but it hit right on the edge, right on the seam between the grass and the dirt, and it bounced into left field over Stanley Blasky's head for a base hit. Second hit for Gardner.
Yeah, another moment for Seward where they've been putting the ball in play and they've been hitting it hard, and good things tend to happen when you do that a lot.
Here's Bry Burt. He's 1 for 2. He lined out to left his first time, walked, and drove in a run in the second, singled and scored a run in the fourth. 7-2 lead for the Jays. Here's the pitch. Fastball, high pop fly, shallow left field. Kylan Swenson underneath it. He'll make the catch, and there's 1 away. 7 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for the Seward Jays. Kindred Vikings, 2 runs, 8 hits, and 5 errors. Now here's the set and the pitch. Off speed, in there for a strike.
Iverson still attacking the strike zone. Doing a nice job of staying composed even with 2 hard hits to start the inning.
And here's the 0-1. Fastball is up. Declan Lindau, the batter, he's 2 for 2. Singled, stole a base, and scored a run in the first. Walked in the second. Singled in the fourth. 1-1 the count. Kyle Riley is on deck. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Off speed is upstairs. 2 balls and a strike. A 7-2 lead for the Jays. Have something brewing here. First and second, 1 out. Here's a pitch. Fastball down. 3 balls and a strike.
Trying to avoid free bases here.
And here's the 3-1 fastball. Kind of a soft liner. This is going to be a tough play. Traum fields it, throws to first, got him. Beautiful play by Andy Traum.
Nice play by Traum.
Charged it nicely, fielded it, made a nice clean throw over to Kelby Erdman at first, just in time for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, no room to fumble around with the ball there, and Traum does a nice job. He looks pretty smooth coming in, charging that ball, making the throw over to first, and bang, bang play, but Vikings get the out. Does move up the runners to second and third, though.
Burner moves to third, Gardner to second. And here's a pitch. Off the glove of Sawyer Hess, and there'll be a play at the plate. Got him at the plate in time to get Burner. Nice hustle by Sawyer Hess. It looked like it bounced off his glove. It went to the screen. Sawyer Hess slid for it, threw to home, and he's called out at the plate. Burner doesn't think so. Mitch Happ is out there to have a few words. Burner felt he was safe. He felt he had his hands in there, and the umpire, Bob Barkley, is explaining himself there. But the out is recorded, and for the Jays, they don't come up with any runs in the top of the sixth inning, and they lead at 7-2 with the Vikings coming to bat.
Make your stop before or after the game at the Knickerbocker in Hickson, North Dakota. Stop out throughout the week for mouth-watering lunch specials weekdays and mark Friday nights down on the calendar for prime rib, ribeye steak, or some walleye at the Knickerbocker. For more information or to find out about daily specials, give the Knickerbocker a like on Facebook by searching the Knickerbocker. Great food and good people. You can find it all at the Knickerbocker in Hickson, North Dakota. For any accounting needs you may have, Todd R. World Certified Public Accountant has you covered. From income tax planning, preparation, and consulting for individuals and businesses. Todd Wold CPA would like to wish the best to the teams competing and thank the coaches and players for their hard work and dedication throughout the season on and off the field, as anything can happen every night at the Diamond. For more information, go online to wold-cpa.com. That's wold-cpa.com.
Keep your car moving along with the team at Elite Automotive Center in Fargo. What sets Elite Automotive Center apart from the herd is their truly extensive list of services. From brake and tire service to tune-ups and battery replacement, there's no job too big or small for their ASE certified technicians. Schedule your next oil change by going to EliteAutomotiveCenter.com or scan the QR code on your screen now. Never settle for standard service. Stop by Elite Automotive Center today in Fargo.
Here's some defensive changes for the Seward Jays. New pitcher coming in from second base will be Quinn Burner. If I see if I have that right. He was one tagged out at the plate. Didn't agree so. He thought he was in there to score that eighth run, but he was called out at the plate. He'll come on to pitch. The designated hitter comes into the ball game and plays second base. That's Tyler Hammond to take the place of Burner at second. The starting pitcher, Connor Svagen comes out of the ball game. He threw a nice ball game.
He did. Excellent game.
Here's a pitch down, ball one.
Yeah, you play baseball long enough and you'll have a disagreement with an umpire, but you know, when you come into pitch after you have a disagreement with an umpire, sometimes it adds a couple miles per hour to your arm. So maybe Burner isn't so upset. I don't know. We'll see.
Connor Svagen, his final line, 5 innings, 8 hits. Pitches in there for a strike to Stanley Belaski. 5 innings, 8 hits, 2 runs, both earned, walked nobody, and struck out 3 batters. Threw a very nice ball game to put his team in line for the victory. And here's a pitch. It's a ball low.
Yeah, I think the only free base was the hit batsman in the first inning, and that ended up scoring a run. And then no freebies after that, and shows you why he threw such a shutdown game.
Here's a pitch. Here's a high fly ball into left field. This ball's hit pretty well. Back goes the left fielder, and he can't get it. It's over his head. Belaski's going to sail into second base. And I believe we'll give him a double on that. Leadoff double for Stanley Belaski. The ball was hit very hard, and the left fielder, Boston Happ, went back on it. But like we said earlier, the wind is carrying balls out to left field, and that just continued to carry.
He was also playing what I thought was very shallow in left field. Within reason, you know, the Vikings haven't hit extra bases anywhere yet, but
a double, leadoff double for Stanley Belaski will bring up Jack McDonald. Relief pitcher on, Quinn Berner. They're watching the replay over there on yourliveevent.com, and they're saying that last play with Berner, they're saying the replay showing that he's out. So if we threw the challenge flag, the call would have been confirmed. Here's a pop-up. I don't think they throw challenge flags in Major League Baseball, do they?
No.
I think they should.
Yeah, that'd make it a little more interesting.
Yeah, they do the little head motion like,
Yeah.
Hey, put the headset on and go check it out.
Yep.
And because of that, that's why I think it should be a challenge flag like the NFL. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Jack McDonald. He's 1 for 2. He singled and flew out. 0-2 the count. Leadoff double for Stanley Belaski.
You know, that is the thing, you know, the bane of high school officials in any sport, that camera technology has become so accessible to everyone that anybody can, you know, it proved him right in this case. But
here's a little ground ball over towards third. Lose has it, fires across the diamond in time for the out. Tell you what, Colton Lose has had a lot of action over at third base. He did make an error earlier in this ball game, but he's made the plays. He's been pretty smooth over there.
You know, and I will say on that error, it was kind of a tough fielding play. He had to come out quick throwing.
That was when Kelby Erdman, the batter now, was up. The lone error for the Jays. That was back in the second. Kelby Erdman to bat. He reached on that error and reached on a fielder's choice. He's 0 for 2. Here's the pitch, swinging a foul out of play, strike one. Quinn Berner, spells his name Berner.
One letter from
from I almost said IER, which is not correct. Quinn Berner, the pitch, swinging at a ground ball, chopped out towards the shortstop. Fields it, throws over to first base in time for the out. Bry Burt, the play, throws over to Kyle Riley for the 6-3 putout, second out of the inning. Bry Burt has played a very good game over at shortstop as well.
Yeah, really solid left side of the infield. Been tested for Seward today, and they've answered that test with nearly perfect scores, aside from that one error we mentioned earlier.
Andy Traum to bat. He bounced into a 6-4-3 double play to end the second inning, laced a base hit to start the fifth. And here's a pitch. Fastball popped in the air. Right side of the infield. Looks like it'll drift foul, but Kyle Riley comes and makes a catch. And for the Kindred Vikings, they get a leadoff double, but don't come up with any runs at the end of 6 innings. It's a 7-2 lead for the Seward Jays, and the Kindred Vikings have 2. And we'll be back on yourliveevent.com.
For trusted news, weather, and sports from your community, look to R&J Broadcasting Incorporated, KRJB, KRJM, and KKCQ Radio, and rjbroadcasting.com. Hear local voices from local radio with news and information from the area. Your information stations, KRJB, KRJM, and KKCQ Radio, and rjbroadcasting.com. Local voices from local radio.
Buying, selling, or leasing commercial real estate or farmland in the Fargo-Moorhead and surrounding area? From office to retail, industrial to multifamily, commercial land to farmland. As the #1 commercial sales and leasing brokerage in the FM region, Goldmark Commercial has the experience and skills to handle all of your commercial real estate and farmland needs with the highest levels of customer service and marketing around. Trust the experts at Goldmark Commercial Real Estate to lead your team to success.
Gabe Iverson to pitch again in the top of the 7th inning. The Jays will send up the 4, 5, and 6 hitters, Kyle Riley, Boston Happ, and Colton Lose.
Looking at the score line here, we've got Seward with a 7-2 lead here in the top of the 7th. 10 hits for the Jays, 9 for the Vikings, but the air score is where it gets lopsided. There's a take there, and it'll be 1-0. 5 errors for the Vikings today and just 1 for the Jays, and it kind of tells the story of the game.
It certainly does. Here's Kyle Riley. He's 1 for 3, had an RBI single in the first, bounced into a double play to end the second inning, and reached on a fielder's choice in the fourth. He did drive in a run on that play, so he's got 2 RBIs on the day. 1-1 the count, swinging a ground ball on the left side in the hole, diving attempt by Sandy Belaski, but it'll be a hit on the left side, a ground ball single, leadoff single for Kyle Riley, his second hit of the ball game, and that'll bring up Boston Happ. Happ is 0 for 3. He's popped up a couple of times. It flew out to right. And here's the set in the pitch. Line drive, fair ball down the left field line. This ball's hit hard. Extra bases. Riley round second, on his way to third. He's going to be held up there. It'll be a stand-up double for Boston Happ, his first hit of the ball game.
Riley to third. That brings up number 13, third baseman, Colton Lose.
Colton Lose to step up. He's 1 for 3. He lined out to center, doubled in the third, and flew out to left field in the fifth.
Jay's looking for a couple more insurance runs here.
Now here's a pitch from Iverson, swinging a high fly ball into right field. Carson Getty's got a good arm. He comes up, makes a catch, throw to the plate, and there's going to be a play. It short hops Sawyer Hess, and he just couldn't come up with the play, and a very difficult play to try to short hop that ball for the catcher, Sawyer Hess. So it's a sacrifice fly to right field and an RBI for Colton Lose. First out of the inning, Kyle Riley comes across the score. Happ did move up to third base as well. So it's a sacrifice fly. 8-2 lead now for Seward. Seward, Nebraska, making the trek up to Kindred to play some baseball here. First pitch to Tyler Hammond, now the second baseman, started the game at DH, is low for a ball. Tyler Hammond is 1 for 3, singled and scored a run, lined out a couple of times after that.
This is the second game of the day for Seward. They took game 1 of today's action in Kindred, 9-1 over the Wahpeton Huskies. I guess I don't know what their Legion name is. They might have the Huskies, but
yeah, I don't think they had one last time. They were just post 20. Here's a ground ball to Stanley Belaski. Low throw, dug out of the dirt once again by Kelby Erdman. A run does score. Happ comes across the score. It's a 6-3 putout and a run batted in for Tyler Hammond. That makes it 9-2 in favor of the Jays. But the out is recorded, and that brings up Carson Dyer, the center fielder. He singled and scored a run in the second, grounded out in the third, and popped out to second base to end the fifth. First pitch is a ball to him. Like we talked about before, they came up with 10 players, 1 coach. They're playing some very good baseball. Here's a line drive in the center that falls down for a base hit. 13 hits now for the Jays. Second hit for Dyer.
Number 2, pitcher, Quinn Berner.
Quinn Berner will step to the plate.
yeah, and this is it today for the Jays. This is their last game of the day, but more baseball action in Kindred. Next will be Mandan taking on Watertown. And then later on tonight, it'll be Kindred back on the field taking on Mandan.
Here's a 1-0 pitch, swinging a foul, back out of play, strike one. Quinn Berner, 1 for 3 with an RBI single and a run scored. He's now the pitcher. He came on to pitch, so this will not be a save situation for Berner. He came on to pitch with a 5-run lead. Kelby Erdman just kind of held the glove on the runner, waiting for him to get up and hopefully sneak a quick out. Here's a 1-1 set in the pitch by Iverson. It's down low. That's going to be a pass ball. Pitch was low, but a catchable ball for the catcher, Sawyer Hess, so the runner advances to second base on the pass ball. Here's a line drive base hit into center field. Fielded by Baumgarten. He's going to rifle it in. Cut off by first baseman Kelby Erdman. Holds the runner at third base. Hard hit single for Berner. His second hit of the ball game. Puts runners at first and third with 2 down. And back to the top of the order for the Jays in Cale Gardner. He's had a nice day at the plate. 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored.
Yeah, 14 hits now for the Jays, and they've really just done a good job of staying level with the ball. They're not trying to do too much with it, but they're hitting hard line drives, and it's putting people in good positions, and that's how you score runs.
The 7, 8, and 9 hitters are a combined 5 for 12 in this ball game.
Yeah, and that's huge for any lineup. If you can have the bottom of your lineup really leading the charge, usually means good things for your offense.
The 1-0 pitch, or the 0-1 pitch misses. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 down, runners at first and third base. 9 runs, 14 hits, and an error for Seward. Foul ball. 2 runs, 9 hits, 5 errors for the Kindred Vikings. Cale Gardner at the plate with Bry Burt on deck. Now here's a 1-2 set, and the pitch off speed is in the dirt. That's going to score a run. That one will be a wild pitch as Dyer comes across to score. Berner up to second base.
He advanced all the way to third.
Oh, did he? He must have been stealing on the pitch as well.
Yep, he was stealing on the pitch.
So he'll actually get credit for the stolen base of second and then move up on the wild pitch to third base. Here's the pitch. Fastball is up.
Yeah, the pitch was low, but I think the steal contributed to Hess. He was trying to come up throwing a little bit before he had made the scoop.
Now Gardner draws his second walk of the ball game. That'll put runners again at first and third base. So another run for Seward earlier. They've put up 3 this inning in the 7th, and they lead it by a score of 10-2. And Bry Burt will step to the plate. Lined out, drove in a run with a walk in the 2nd. Singled and scored a run in the 4th inning and flew out in the 6th. Here's a swing and a pop-up. Could be playable. Sawyer Hess trying to find it. Gabe Iverson comes in. I'm not sure who caught it. Looks like Sawyer Hess made the catch for the final out. Foul pop to the catcher ends the inning. However, the Jays come up with 3 runs that inning, and they lead it by a score of 10-2 with the Kindred Vikings coming to bat.
Green Earth Landscaping offers a full range of services, including commercial and residential landscape design and installation, maintenance and sprinkler services. From outdoor kitchens to patios, retaining walls, lighting, fine grade, sod and hydroseed, and anything in between, Green Earth Landscaping has you covered, servicing the Fargo-Moorhead area and beyond. For more information, go online to greenearthnd.com. That's greenearthnd.com.
Halstead Telephone Company delivers fast broadband internet, telephone, and cable TV to residents in this region, including Halstead, Shelley, Neilsville, Climax, Fisher, Bigland, Gentilly in Minnesota, and Hillsborough, Caledonia, Gardner, and Argosville, North Dakota. Serving the area residents since 1904, Halstead Telephone continues to create a bright future for this region using 100% fiber optic technology. Service plans offer flexibility and choices, and there's local support personnel ready to help. Contact Halstead Telephone Company today.
Kindred Vikings will send the top of the order to bat in the bottom of the 7th, down by 8 runs. Trying to claw their way back into this one. They'll have Brady Baumgarten, Carson Getty, and Sawyer Hess to bat. In the bottom of the 7th, against a relief pitcher, Quinn Berner. He came on in relief in the 6th inning through a scoreless 6th inning. Final line for Connor Svagen. He went 5 innings, 8 hits allowed, 2 runs, both earned. Didn't walk anybody, struck out 3 batters. Gabe Iverson, by the way, nice job coming in relief. And for the third pitcher in relief, Gabe Iverson went 5 2/3, allowed 9 hits, 5 runs, and 4 earned. Here's a pop-up on the right side. Declan Lindau out in right field makes the catch. First pitch swinging for Brady Baumgarten. He's out. Back to Gabe Iverson again, that 5 2/3, 9 hits allowed, 5 runs, 4 earned. Didn't walk or strike anybody out, but it does a nice job and eats up some innings for the Kindred Vikings.
Yeah, he got dinged a little bit in the 7th, but he really did a good job coming into the game and kind of calming things down for the Vikings when they were a little out of control after those 2 innings. So you can't say enough about his composure and coming in and throwing strikes.
Here's a swing and a foul over the third base dugout. 1 ball and 1 strike. Carson Getty, the batter. He's 2 for 3. A single in the first. He scored a run, struck out looking in the third, and singled in the 5th. Burner rocks and fires. Fastball, ground ball, foul. Up the first baseline. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Burner's done a nice job for Seward coming in and continuing the trend that was started beginning of the game.
And here's the 1-2 pitch, fastball outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's a 2-2 delivery. Fastball down. Sawyer Hess is on deck. Vikings have pounded out 9 hits today, but the Jays have countered with their 14. Here's a 3-2 pitch, fastball, called strike 3 on the inner half of the plate, and there's 2 down. Burner's second strikeout, first strikeout I should say, first strikeout. And there's 2 away. That'll bring up Sawyer Hess. He was hit by a pitch, bounced into a double play, and reach on a fielder's choice in the 5th. So he's 0 for 2. Here's a pitch from Quinn Burner. Fastball in there for a strike. Burner looks like he has a little bit of giddy up on his fastball.
Yeah, a little bit of burn from Burner.
Here's the 0-1 set. Throwing out of the full windup. Swing and a miss by Sawyer Hess. Kylan Swenson is on deck, hoping to get a chance to bat here. Vikings just simply need base runners, down by 2 with 2 outs and an 8-run deficit. Fastball outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This will be pitch number 22 for Burner. And here's the pitch. Off speed, fouled away. Pitch count's very important. Gabe Iverson threw 67 pitches, so he will not be able to pitch tomorrow for sure. Not sure if he'll need 2 days rest or not. I'd have to look up the rules again. I can never remember the numbers in my head. Here's a pitch. 1-2 pitch is called a strike on the outside part of the plate. And Sawyer Hess goes down on strikes to end the inning, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Quinn Burner. He sets down 6 in a row and ends this ball game by a score of 10-2 in favor of the Seward Jays over the Kindred Vikings. And the Vikings drop the first game of this Essentia Health tournament. And we'll take a break, and we'll come back with the Todd Wold CPA postgame show after this on YourLiveEvent.com.
For any accounting needs you may have, Todd R. World Certified Public Accountant has you covered. From income tax planning, preparation, and consulting for individuals and businesses. Todd Wold CPA would like to wish the best to the teams competing and thank the coaches and players for their hard work and dedication throughout the season on and off the field, as anything can happen every night at the Diamond. For more information, go online to wold-cpa.com. That's wold-cpa.com. Stay up to date all year long with your live event from our social platforms with X, Facebook, and YouTube. From the latest coaches show to watch game broadcasts back on demand from earlier in the season. Search your live event on YouTube and hit subscribe.
Outside the three-point arc. Pick and pop here with Spaeth into the left side corner. Three, good.
For the complete and most up-to-date schedule throughout the year, head to our website at yourliveevent.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Todd Wold CPA post-game show. For any accounting requisitions from income tax planning, preparation, and consulting for individuals or businesses, go online to wold-cpa.com.
Kindred Vikings drop this one to the Seward Jays by a score of 10-2. For the Jays, the starting pitcher, Connor Swagen, gets the victory. He goes 5 innings, allows just the 8 hits, allows 2 runs, both earned, didn't walk anybody, struck 3 batters out. Quinn Berner comes on in relief and does a fine job, throws 2 innings, allows 1 hit, no runs, no walks, strikes out 2, and he closes this one out. For the Jays, offensively for the Jays, Cale Gardner was 2 for 4 with a couple of runs scored. Bryce Burt had a hit and an RBI and a run scored. Declan Lindau was 2 for 3 with a run scored. Kyle Riley 2 for 4 with 2 runs batted in. And how about Carson Dyer? He goes 2 for 4 and scores a couple of runs. And Quinn Berner also goes 2 for 4 at the plate with a run scored and a run batted in. For the Kindred Vikings, Teague Erdman takes the loss. He goes an inning and a third, allows 5 hits, 4 runs, all earned, didn't walk or strike anybody out. Stanley Belaski pitched in relief, faced 3 batters, walked them all, did allow 1 run, and Gabe Iverson came in relief and did a fine job. Closed this one out for the Vikings and chewed up some innings. 5 2/3 innings pitched, 9 hits allowed, 5 runs allowed, only 4 earned, didn't walk or strike anybody out. So the Kindred Vikings dropped this one by a score of 10-2. And now for your Enbridge Player of the Game.
Enbridge. Life takes energy. Enbridge. Energy for life. Enbridge.com for career opportunities.
I think we'll give the Player of the Game to the starting pitcher, Connor Swagen. Again, 5 innings pitched. Allows 8 hits, 2 runs, both earned. No walks at all. And strikes out 3 batters. And he picks up the win for the Seward Jays out of Nebraska. Now for your HTC connection of the match.
HTC. Discover local reliability you can trust. Halstead Telephone. It's how to connect. HalsteadTel.com.
In your HTC connection of the match, we'll give it to Kyle Riley, the first baseman. He got things started in the first inning. Just hit a base hit into straightaway center field. That scored the first run for the Jays, and they never relinquished the lead after that. Kyle Riley also added a fielder's choice where he drove in a run in the 4th, and he singled and scored a run in the 7th inning. So he goes 2 for 4 with 2 runs batted in, and he's your HTC connection of the match. That'll wrap things up. We'll take a break. There's another ball game. After this, we will not have this game. It's Mandan against Watertown. And then when we come back later tonight, Mandan will take on the Kindred Vikings, and we'll bring you that game on yourliveevent.com.
Homegrown local radio is now worldwide with 24-hour streaming. Download the RJ Radio app to hear local voices from local radio with KRJB, KRJM, and KKCQ 24 hours a day from anywhere. You can listen to your favorite programs like the RJ Family Morning Show, local news, farm markets, music, high school sports, church services, more from anywhere. KRJB, KRJM, and 96.7 KKCQ is streaming on the RJ Radio app. Download it to your device and take us with you wherever you go.
Keep your car moving along with the team at Elite Automotive Center in Fargo. What sets Elite Automotive Center apart from the herd is their truly extensive list of services. From brake and tire service to tune-ups and battery replacement, there's no job too big or small for their ASE certified technicians. Schedule your next oil change by going to EliteAutomotiveCenter.com or scan the QR code on your screen now. Never settle for standard service. Stop by Elite Automotive Center today in Fargo.
The Seward Jays win this one by a score of 10-2, and that ends the ball game. Kindred Vikings will play again later on tonight, Game 5 of this Essentia Health tournament. They'll take on the Mandan A's at roughly 8 p.m. later this evening, and we'll bring you that ball game right here on yourliveevent.com.